If you're looking for a good all-round ship with some very unique abilities in fractured space, stay tuned because today I'm reviewing the Endeavour. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Down to Earth Astronomy to Fractured Space. Today I'm making a review of the Endeavour, a ship that was added to the game not too long ago. I've actually had the ship for quite some time. I just never really got around to make that review of it. But anyway, here it is, and let's have a look at it. First, we're gonna go over the loadout, the modules you have on the ship, and then we're gonna see the ship in some action, see what the ships can actually do on the battlefield. But first, let's have a look at the loadout here. We can see there are no upgrades to this ship. It comes as it is, and there's nothing you can do about that. First, we have the Void Cannon, which is the main weapon. Well, it's not really the weapon you're going to do the most damage with, but it is your main weapon. It's an aim and fire weapon. It fires a volley of 4 shots every 1.33 seconds, so 3 times per second it will fire 4 shots, which is actually pretty decent. You can see that the range of these are very good. Max range is 17.5 kilometer. Speed is also decent, 13 kilometers per second. Optimal range is at around 10 kilometers, so when you go over 10 kilometers you begin to lose some damage. But what's interesting about this weapon, and this is actually something that goes through the whole ship, it's very versatile. It works in many different situations, because if you look at the damage of the ship, it has some initial impact damage when you actually hit the enemy ship. Then it has some AoE damage, so area of effect, and then it has some armor damage. So it both damages the enemy armor, it damages the enemy ship, and also have that area of effect. That means that this weapon is very good at destroying cloaked ships, because with the high rate of fire and the high volley count, together with the AoE damage, that means this gun is absolutely a beast against cloaked ships, and also with the long range means they're gonna have a very hard time getting away from you. Moving on to your secondary weapon, which I would probably call your main weapon, and this is the main feature of this ship. That is the sentry turrets. Sentry turrets, you deploy them, you shoot them out in a direction, and in that direction they deploy. And they'll just sit there stationary and shoot at whatever you have targeted. If you don't have any targets, then it will just shoot at whatever enemy it can see. You will have a maximum of 3 of these active at any point, and they'll actually do a surprising amount of damage. Their main weakness, of course, is that they are not very strong defensive-wise, so they can be killed very easily. But that requires that the enemy uses time to actually shoot at them, and that means as long as they're shooting at them, they're not shooting at anyone else. Base damage, as I said, is good. Range is also decent. So again, an all-round pretty good, pretty decent if you can keep them safe. Then I want to jump down here to the sentry missiles, now that we are talking about sentries. Because if you use this ability, all your sentries in the current sector, that's important to note, all the sentries in your current sector will fire missiles at their current targets. Fire 4 missiles fairly quickly, and they do a decent amount of damage as well. And the reason why it was important to say that you should know about the sector, that's because that if you leave a sector where you already have deployed sentries, the sentries will stay there, and they will fire at whatever they can see. That means that you can actually, if you're being attacked on 2 flanks, you can go to one flank, deploy some of your sentries, go to the other flank, maybe deploy one sentry there, and have you and the Void Cannons over there to protect in that sector. You can actually be active in 2 sectors at once, which is an absolutely amazing ability. Then you have the concussion mines. These are like cloaked mines. You fire out a bunch of them, 8 apparently, and they are cloaked so the enemies can't see them until they get too close, of course. Then they can suddenly see them. When they explode in their face, they take a small amount of damage. And they lose the ability to use all their special abilities for 2 seconds. Again, this can be very useful. Put those around like a mining outpost, and when people then fly in trying to cap it, they will set off all the mines, and they'll take, I mean, they do 200 damage time 8 mines if they set off all of them. which I guess is a decent amount of damage. Then they have a gravity charge. The gravity charge, again, you shoot the gravity charge, point and shoot. And then fly out to, I think it's 10 kilometers, or until it is at the range of the target that you are currently targeted. So if you have a target at 7 kilometers and you shoot it out, it will go to 7 and stop. Once it stops, there's a destination time of 5 seconds, so we'll wind up for 5 seconds, and once it detonates, it will pull everything within 3 kilometers towards it. This is very good for getting people out of cover, so they can get into line of fire of both you and your sentries. But also, it just adds to this whole area of control that you control. You really try to take control of an area in the ship and try to prevent people from progressing through a sector. We're going to talk about that when we see the battle, but in general, I play this ship in 2 ways. If I'm alone in the sector, I play it very defensively. I stay in cover. I use my sentries to do the damage. I use my mines. I use the gravity charge to try and prevent people from progressing through the sector. Try to hold them back for as long as I can without exposing my own ship, waiting for backup. If I'm together with someone, I would probably also try and stay in cover, because this ship is not very well defended. It will be killed fairly quickly. And again, but then I can like pop out behind cover, use my void cannons whenever I see an opportunity. And then of course let the main damage come from my sentry turrets. So a good all-round support ship, even though you do not support your other ships, but it works well playing in together and close to other ships. That's at least how I like to play it. But I think that's well enough about the ship and the hangar. Let's go ahead and let's see how the ship performs in some real combat. And here we go. Battle starts. So again, now let's see how the ship handles in some real combat here. We can see initially I jump to beater together with the equalizer. Very small, fast, and agile ship. Uses boost very early on to get some good distance, and right there we get the first tell of the ships in this section. We definitely have an overseer here. We can see an enemy raider here moving in, so I deploy my sentries. You can see here he's beginning to take damage. That's the sentries beginning to shoot at him. He of course deploys his shield to try and disable that much of the incoming damage. And he does a pretty good job, and it's difficult when it comes from so many directions. But now we can begin to see one of the weak sides of the sentries. That is, they're very easy to kill. And the overseer here does a very, very easy job of just shooting these down one at a time. So I fall back a little, waiting for my sentries to respawn, or that I can redeploy them. I'm down to just one sentry right now. Trying to keep the pressure up on the raider, but with just one sentry is really limited what you can do. Again, I don't want to overcommit right now. It's something that I see a lot of people do. They like run forward as fast as they can at the beginning of the battle and then get killed very, very quickly. I want to try to avoid that, so I'm holding back a little bit. Don't want to overcommit. Want to slowly begin to wind down. So I deploy the gravity well here, and note there is a graphical bug, so the gravity well and the concussion mine is the symbols are switched. So go for the name underneath. I tried to deploy the gravity well to try and pull in the raider, but it was a little too late and he was outside his range once it finally detonated, so unfortunately not a lot we got there. So I decide I'm close to our forward station, just go back, get those upgrades and wait for support, because this ship really does well together with other ships. It doesn't do well on its own. There we go, last of our sentries just got killed, but it doesn't really matter because we just got a full load of sentries again. We're ready to fire the next batch. So I try to spot the overseer, just got a quick glimpse of him there. They're both fallen back quite far, so I decide, okay, I can move up to the next station, get into cover behind that, and then fight from here. So as soon as I get into cover, again, get those sentries out. Try and keep up the pressure on him. Make sure that he will not get the opportunity to shield himself. So I'm trying to like spread them out so the fire will come in from many different directions, making it more difficult for him. Hoping I can get a few shots in there with the void cannons, but unfortunately he managed to get around the back. So now you see he's trying to shield himself from the sentries. He of course realized that I'm a bigger threat, so he switches his shield over to protect from me instead. While the overshield is once again doing quick work of my sentries. So with the sniping ship in the sector, it can be difficult to keep your sentries alive unless you can keep them in cover behind something. But if you can that, it's probably because they cannot hit anything either. Because if they can't see the enemy ship, they of course can't fire. They've got a small hit there from the overseer, not anything dangerous at all. Only 20 seconds until Gamma unlocks, so I decide it's time to jump in. And we have just 5 seconds until we get the first of our sentries back again. And the sentry drones can be absolutely deadly in a Gamma fight. Because people will normally not pay that much attention to them, to be honest, unless you're like just you and your sentries left. So first ships arrive, and it is the Raider, I think. And here we see that the enemy Paladin has arrived, so I switch over to him. Want to try and focus on him instead. We very quickly overmanned them. They were very late for the Gamma. We captured. I try to get some cover because I want to get out of here. I don't want to be fighting in here right now. I want to preserve my buff from the Gamma sector. So I jump back to the home base, but note, all my sentries, they're still in there, and they're still firing. They're still shooting at the enemy ships. Now they're of course just selecting their targets on their own, but they're still helping my team. And we're gonna keep a very, very close eye on the ships in there, just to see what actually happens. So I jump over, just decide, okay, for now, let them just fight it out in there, and I'll begin to press through the sector. I think we still have 2 ships left, and one is about to jump out. So just slowly going through Alpha, getting some few points for my team by killing the mining ships, trying to cap one of the one remaining mining station that's left. And the enemy team has almost cleared out the 2 ships that we had left in the Gamma sector. I don't know if it was a bit of a dick move, like just abandoning my team like that, but I don't know. Anyway. Now there's just my sentries and a few enemy ships. Now look what's happened here. I'm not in the Gamma sector. There we go. I just got a kill. And there's no ships in this sector that haven't been for a long time. That's because people jumped out. They didn't pay attention to my sentries. And as soon as they jump, they begin to take a lot of damage. And my sentries kill them. Simple as that. Anyway, while they were fighting it out, we managed to both capture their forward station at Beta, and we're also pressing them at the Alpha forward station. So I try to get into some cover, so I can get this station captured, trying to keep the fire up on that Raider. He's down to half health. He's at very low health. I jump out. I let my sentries fire at him. He's at very low health. I'm counting on my sentries killing him. I'll fire some missiles, and let's see if we kill him. Yeah, there it was. There, finally we got him. So again, another kill while we were not even in the sector. Again, you can just leave your enemies behind and let your sentries finish them off. Of course, that means now that my sentries are on cooldown, but they're not really that useful since we just need to be inside the bubble to contest it. Of course, we could deploy them up there, but they would probably die very, very quickly. So deploy some mines there. You can see the blue blinky thingies. They're like cloaked mines that you shoot. The cloaked mines that you shoot, and when the enemies fly close to them, they will take a little bit of damage and they will get a concussive attack. Okay, enemy Colossus coming in here, very, very close. I try to get away, but don't want to get too far. I want to stay close to our logistics ship so I can get some repairs. He's beginning to pay a lot of attention to me and taking a lot of damage here. At this point I probably should try to get beneath the station, get out of his line of fire. But again, at this point there are too many ships in here for us to be able to cap anyway. We only got up to 4%, and that's a very good defense from the enemy team. They did a good job of defending their base there. And we die for the first time in this battle. We still have jump access to their base actually from Alpha. But we have ships jumping out because right now there are too many ships in there for us to be able to cap it. We have too many ships on cooldown. So it's absolutely the right choice here to to jump out and preserve your ship. But of course you will have the most of the enemy team. So at this point I think, okay, I just saw at least 3 enemy ships in Alpha, and we can see 1 ship in Beta right now. So I'm expecting that the enemy base is, if not completely, then very close to empty. So I think, okay, if I'm lucky, I can manage to jump in right behind them as the jump axis closes. But unfortunately, no, it was too late, and they already managed to recap their forward station and claim their home base again. So again, we have just under 2 minutes until Gamma unlocks. We need to pay attention to that. So you don't want to end up in a situation where you fire all your sentries just before Gamma unlocks, because then you can see there's around about a minute cooldown from you fire the first one, so you can fire it again. And you don't want to end up with your sentries on cooldown when Gamma unlocks, because they can be very useful. As I said earlier, they are actually deadly because they do a lot of damage if you don't pay attention to them. So now I try to stay in cover behind this rock while I still keep the fire up on the Colossus together with my sentry drones. Because here he begins to back up as I fire the gravity well. I was trying to pull him out of cover, but again with the destination time he moved out of cover himself. Almost got him down there before he managed to jump out and just dodged the shot from the Overseer. Enemy Executioner moving forward, jumps backwards again here, keeping up with the long range on the Void Cannons here. We can do a lot of damage. He's almost dead. He is receiving heals right now, hoping that I can manage to get this guy down before he gets out. But unfortunately I forget about the rock, and you can see now my shots are all hitting the rock just as he begins to jump. Absolute catastrophic, and that puts me off target. And at the moment I'm back in target, he managed to get down behind cover and jump out. 20 seconds until Gamma unlocks. Now it's heating up again. So we have all our sentries, they're all ready, and we can now jump into Gamma. As soon as we arrive, we begin to look for some cover, and then we deploy our sentries. Always make sure your ship is safe before you begin any aggressive moves, unless you just want to go all balls out aggressive, of course. But anyway, sentries are out, focusing on the Colossus right now. There we go, the missiles. See, there's a decent amount of damage you get out of those missiles. And there we go. I think I managed to catch him this time in the gravity well, pulling him up, trying to pull him out of that cover, try to expose his ship. Want to get him down very quickly. We managed to cap Gamma 2 this time. And the enemy ship haven't shown up with that many ships. They're a bit spread out, so it should allow us to stay in cover from some of them and attack others. But I decided to jump out. If I stayed a little longer there, I think I could have killed that Colossus because he was jumping out. But again, he has a lot of hit points and he wasn't covered for most of my sentries. But anyway, we escaped Gamma again with our buff intact. We have lots of friendly ships at Beta, so I decided to jump to Alpha. Because one thing that this ship does well is, if it is alone, it does very well as a area of denial. Just simply holding people's progression back in a sector. Preventing people from moving forward and capping your mining stations. Not because it has a lot of damage, and not because it does a lot of damage itself, but just because of all the different abilities and the constant fire you can put in, which will often try to force people to take either longer routes or simply stay in cover altogether, unless they are a very, very heavily armored ship already. So I expect them to begin to be moving forward. I don't want to be too aggressive here again. Stay back, stay in some cover where you can get your ship safe if you need it. Holding back on the last drone, there we go, out with that one, spreading him out good again to prevent people from getting too much cover. So if they move out, try to get out, they will pretty much always be exposed to at least one of my sentries right now. The friendly team at Beta is beginning to cap their forward station, so I'm expecting people to begin to move back. And there we go, looks like, oh, that was a mining ship. I actually thought one of them was moving out from cover. So at this point I think, okay, they're probably, I begin to see people jumping out. I saw the blink there, so I think now they've jumped back to their home base. We see, indeed, all 5 ships are at the home base. We see some shots coming in here from the drones trying to kill the mining ships. Friendly ships coming back out back to this, probably jumping out because they were taking too much damage. again, just slowly trying to get through the sector, trying to get that forward station, just to put that little bit extra pressure so we have 2 corridors open to the enemy base. Most of the teams right now in the enemy base are still lingering outside the shield, it looks like. I don't know what they're doing out there. It looks like people are trying to get some cover behind the rocks at the edge of that sector. But with all the ships at the other end and chasing people outside the bubble, I see this as my opportunity to get in. And get a little bit of cap points in before they manage to get back in. And clearly, one of the other friendly ships, that's the Equalizer. He got the same idea. Overseer gets a few hits in, but not a lot. And now people are scrambling to get back into their shield, trying to defend their base. But we're already capping. We're actually capping at a good rate right now. We're all the way up to 30%. Capping very quickly as people are getting back into the shield. We still have both sectors unlocked. I just managed to catch the Enforcer's speed bubble as I used that momentum to try and get out, because at this point we probably couldn't cap them anymore. They already have people back in the shield, so it was just about me getting out, getting safe. So 2 minutes until Gamma unlocks. We have both sectors unlocked, so we really have the upper hand right now, and we've been able to capture the 2 first Gamma sectors without too much competition, to be honest. So once again, moving through the sector here, waiting for my jump drive to cool down, getting into some cover. I see people beginning to cap. I expect them to also be going to Beta with 2 ships here. Do not see any ships. Now we see ships capturing at Beta. Think, okay, this is our chance. We can only spot once, but there might be more. Unfortunately, no. They did keep ships back at the base. Very, very well played again to that Colossus there. He played very well in this fight. He had a good idea of when he needed to jump out and what he needed to do and where he needed to be. So well played, sir. It was a great game, and he really did play a very good game. Of course, with him being here and the Endeavor not having a lot of hit points, he of course makes quick work of me, and there's no way I'm gonna get out of this alive. And there we go, I'm down. But luckily, there is just over a minute left before Gamma unlocks, and I'm respawning in just 50 seconds. So I should respawn just before Gamma unlocks, which is pretty much perfect timing. Cap process, we're doing pretty good. We managed to get up to 37%. They haven't, I don't even think they have jump access to our base yet. And there we go, another kill there. And once again, we're the Enforcer, not the Enforcer, sorry, the Equalizer here is trying to press again, trying to make some quick ninja caps, but he's being denied hard by the Colossus there. He jumps into Gamma. Looks like he's gonna get ready for the fight here at Gamma. I try to get a good overview, trying to see what my team is doing. Are they gonna come in to Gamma? Are they jumping in? Are they going for the enemy base? Just to get an idea of what I can expect once I respawn. Still only have the Equalizer. See one other ship here jumping in right now. So I decide to jump in. The enemy team only has 1. They have 3 ships on cooldown, so we have a very good chance of capping this. There's that Colossus again. And look how well he spotted this situation. He knows here that he is being outmanned, that he cannot get it, and he jumps out because he wants to save his ship to defend the home base. And there we go. We just got the jump access, we managed to cap it, and now the next ship here is also jumping out, trying to get back to their base to defend. Trying to get as much damage in as I can before they jump out. We have the first friendly ship at the enemy base. At the speed it's going, must be the Equalizer. And indeed it was. And now we're just flooding in. People are flooding in everywhere. I open up on the Colossus. At this point I really want to kill this guy. But I spot the Executioner instead. It's a little bit easier target to take down, so I decide to go for him instead. Because, again, they're capping at the same rate, or they're preventing us from cap at the same rate, so going for the lower health ship is probably better. But again, a lot of damage were coming into to that Colossus, so I switch back to him. Then I spot the Paladin, their logistics ship, so I put in some fire on him. I'm changing targets all over the place right now. I spot the Executioner again because I was taking a little bit of damage. I want to get down cover, which prevented me from firing at the Paladin. He uses jumps to get back. I fire the missiles at him. Look at that missiles go. think we managed to get him down. Not quite, almost down. But we're capping very fast. There he goes, he's dead. We should speed up our cap process. It almost stalled for a second there. We're at 89%. 92%, 93%. Looks like this is a win. They have a lot of ships on cooldown. And there we go. Battle is over. So as you can see, you can use the ship both if you play it, if you're alone in the sector, play it very defensively. Use your sentries to prevent your people, prevent the enemy ships from progressing through the sector. Use your mines to halt them. And if you're playing together with others, you can go out from behind your cover, use that void cannon, the good range on it, and use your sentries. And never underestimate the value of you leaving your sentries in a sector, because they can defend a sector even though you are not there. So that's definitely something to take into consideration. But anyway, I hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a like down below and consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in space. If there's any ship you feel like I need to review, let me know either in the comment section down below or on my Discord server, and there's a link for that in the video description.